Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is capable of anything. I just heard him sing in this movie, and he has a beautiful singing voice. Like, how does that happen? He can do anything he wants. Like, what am I doing with my life? Who would have thought the goddamn Scorpion King would have such a beautiful singing voice and would be one of the most likable and entertaining actors of right now, of our generation. Like, it's insane. Anyway, Moana. I'm resisting my stupid, dumb American urge to say Moana review coming straight ahead on We Need Movies. Moana tells the story of a girl who lives on a Polynesian island in the middle of the ocean who is obsessed with exploration. She wants to learn more, she wants to voyage past her island, and unfortunately her parents won't let her. But this isn't quite the cookie cutter Disney movie that you're used to. I mean, yes, you've seen all of this stuff before, and as the movie progresses and unfolds, you can tell exactly where it's headed. But they kind of switch it up a bit where she is actually going to be the chief of her village, and so she's not really interested in a Prince Charming or any of that bullshit. She wants to lead her people, and she wants to do that the best way she can, but at the same time, she's kind of sick of living on this island. And there's this whole legend of why they're not allowed to leave the island. They're forbidden from doing so because of past generations trying to leave and whatnot, and I won't spoil that for you, but safe to say, she has to leave the island to find Maui, who's voiced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's a demigod who needs to return the heart of the ocean to kind of stop this entire thing from happening, so that they can finally leave their island and whatnot. I'm being rather vague because some of the joy of this was finding out a lot about what it was about, because from the trailers I didn't gather too much other than, you know, it was kind of a new fun Disney movie, but I gotta say, I kind of enjoyed it. It's not necessarily, you know, the best of the year so far. I was looking through Disney's animation catalog of recent years, and I remember back in the 90s when they had that Disney renaissance of like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and Lion King and so many great movies that came out right in that early 90s period where they had this creative resurgence of successful properties. And I gotta say, like, since 2010 or whatever with Tangled, and then there was Wreck-It Ralph and Frozen and Big Hero 6 and Zootopia just this year, I'm thinking they're in a second one, man, because Moana was really good. I enjoyed it. It's entertaining. Yes, it's formulaic and very predictable, but at the same, it's so vibrant and colorful. I like the characters. They're memorable. You know, you get the same stuff that you've seen in all these Disney movies before. You know, the wacky sidekick animal, which is in this case the chicken, who gets a little too much screen time. It gets a little too kid-friendly, but he had actually a lot of laughs I got from him. But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is fantastic as Maui. You know, you can tell his charisma carries over in his voice performance. And I gotta say, man, I can't pronounce, hang on a sec, Olili Cravalho. I know I messed that, I butchered that name. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But she's fantastic as Moana. She's a really bright, talented newcomer that I think we'll be able to see in a lot more live action stuff, because she's very beautiful, very wonderful voice too. So I'm excited to see where she winds up going. But yeah, it was a good central character, something that, while yeah, you've seen it before, she was very tough, very independent. She was kind of a badass. I like that a lot. Like, she's a really good role model character for young girls out there. But this isn't necessarily one of those movies, those princess movies that guys couldn't also get into as well. You know, as a kid, I liked the Disney princess movies too. They weren't my favorite, but this is a movie that I think young boys will like, young girls will like, and the family can enjoy too, because while it doesn't have that Shrek level of innuendo, there are some kind of jokes that go, I guess, a little bit over kids' heads, but for the most part, it's emotional towards the end. They've got that, you know, goddamn rip your heart moment out like they have in every Disney movie, but again, this isn't as creative or original as something like, you know, Inside Out recently from Disney Pixar anyway, but and I guess I wouldn't necessarily rank it up there with Zootopia. I really liked Zootopia. I thought that was a really good movie. But this is just under that for me. This was a really solid Thanksgiving release. I liked it better than Frozen, I would say, and better than Big Hero 6. And it's probably right up there with Finding Dory. I know a lot of people thought that one was also really unoriginal and not very creative and kind of for money, which obviously it is. but I liked Finding Dory just because I was really fond also of Finding Nemo and stuff. So I'd put this up there. I would say Moana's a little bit better, but not as good as Zootopia or Kubo and the Two Strings. So it's not the best animated movie so far this year, but it's pretty solid. There's a good couple of songs in there. There's not a Let It Go, where you're going to hear this for years on end and want to put a bullet through your head every time it comes on after a while. But there's a couple of good catchy songs in there, one particularly by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, You're Welcome, that's really catchy, really fun. Again, I recommend checking this out if you care about Disney movies at all. It's got good characters, beautiful animation. Like, this is some of the most detailed water and hair animation that I've ever seen in a movie. A great character in Moana and Maui. And yeah, I think this is a movie that your kids can really get into. They'll like it a lot. So I'm going to give Moana 3.5 out of 5 tickets. It's not necessarily a 4-level animation like a Zootopia or Kubo and the Two Strings would have been for me this year, but it's right up there. Like, I really enjoyed it. It's some solid animation, and it may grow on me over time. Some of the Disney movies of recent years, kind of like a Wreck-It Ralph and Tangled and whatnot, after the first initial viewing, I liked them, but I liked them more after they kind of grew on me. And so this may be a 4 later on, but right now it's a 3.5. I enjoyed it. I recommend checking it out. I'm Brandon with We Need Movies, and stay tuned. Please subscribe for some future reviews. I'm actually working on a Blu-ray update right now. And Jamie, let me know what you thought of Moana. I'm curious to see if you end up checking it out and what you'll think about it, and how awkward it is to be the one guy. Like, when I went to go see this, it was just me. So it's me and then a bunch of, it's all kids, like kids and their families, and they're all just staring at me like, why? What are you doing here? Ugh. It's sad to be alone sometimes.